Hi there, folks. Welcome back. This is Quality Homes' next segment in our seminar series, and today we're going to be dealing with building permits. Joining me is a longtime employee from Quality Homes, Kimberley Younger. Welcome, Kimberley.
Thank you.
When we're seeing guests in our sales centers, one of the first questions, because you're building a custom home on your own land, is who gets the permits? And while we understand that this can be a very complicated process, Kimberley has really got the resources and the experience to make this simple, easy, and give you lots of peace of mind. Kimberley, how long have you been with Quality Homes now?
So coming this December, it'll be 17 years.
Amazing, amazing, excellent.
Thank you.
So, every home needs a building permit, whether it be a cottage or even a bunkie or, a principal residence. So while we have tons of quality control in the factory and during the modular process, Kimberley's going to talk to us today about what needs to be done pertaining to the lot and all about it to get a building permit. So Kimberley, kick us off in terms of how do we prepare our customers for the tasks ahead in applying for a building permit?
Right. So we like to have the customer go ahead and talk to the zoning, or go in and talk to the zoning department and find out what their lot is actually zoned for. So if it's agricultural or rural or residential, we get the information and then they come back to us and say, this is the information that we have. This is the lot size that we have, so we know then what size of house we can actually build on that lot.
And that's obviously critically important because every lot is different. So, once you've cleared the zoning, I guess we need some kind of survey to make sure that everything's accurate.
Absolutely. So the survey is done by an Ontario land surveyor. And that is done either the customers already have a survey done, and then what they may need, depending on the building department, will be a topographical or a lot grading survey. Now that can't be done until we've actually done the drawings, but they would have to have, the customer will have to have something like that done once we get the drawings finished.
Great. So basically now we have the lot understood. We can design a house or select a house that works. What are the restrictions for planning and zoning that the building department may have in terms of sizes, placement, heights, etc.?
Yep. So a lot of the restrictions really depend on, are you on water? Are you, how close are you to the cattle next door? Are you, and you laugh, but we have a lot of farmers, so, that happens. Is it, are you putting in a granny flat? If you're putting in a granny flat, it's a certain amount of distance from the main house. So it's all relative, and the setbacks, meaning a certain distance from the lot line, is what they'll need to put. The surveyor will need to put on that survey. So we need that.
Just because you have a 60-foot wide lot, obviously doesn't mean you can build a 60-foot wide house. There's setbacks apart from neighbors. So I believe the setbacks determine how far you are from your neighbors, the maximum amount of lot coverage, height restrictions where, there may be views from other neighbors that may be spoiled, et cetera, et cetera. So basically what I'm hearing you say, Kimberley, is that we're going to have established a building footprint that we can then work around in terms of the final design, et cetera, et cetera. What other considerations are there that people should find out in terms of any conservation or any restrictions that may apply to the lot?
Right, absolutely. So as soon as the customer comes in and they know their actual address, I can always look up right away what conservation area that they might be in, and if there is conservation. We always ask them to check with the zoning department. Sometimes it's a little outdated. Conservation, we can always work around conservation. It's a process, but we can work around it.
So typically conservation is doing what? Protecting water courses?
They will be protecting anything from the tree frog to protecting you from having that water flowing underneath your house.
So
Yeah.
floodplains and then that type of thing as well.
Yes.
And I guess then once we understand the requirements of the conservation, we can translate that into where the house is placed, if we need to do any damp proofing or extra waterproofing on the foundation, etc.
Yes. And it could also be a wind factor. So we've just gone through one with the wind that's coming off wind, and it's very simple, but it can happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess your statement is that most of it is simple. We've just got to get the right information at the right time.
That's
Okay.
right.
So, once we've established the zoning and what can be built and where it can be built and the other agencies that need to go through, I know some of them have a heritage requirement as well, where some designs need to take place, architectural control as well. Quality Homes gets into the design of the home, and we supply customers a full set of architectural drawings. Typically, what is in the drawing set that is required by the building department?
Right, so the drawing set will include all of your floor plans. Now, this is once you've done all your finishing. So it includes your floor plans, your foundations, the footings. It includes all the elevations, which are very important because that has your height requirements on there. It will include all the building sections, your roof trusses, which are all engineered. Heat loss, energy efficiency. So when you're looking at, when you go to typically a lot of customers go to the website and they pull up these forms, the building application forms, and they pull them up and they look daunting. And they're not, they just are typical forms that you fill out every day. And these forms we fill out for you, but they've got all these extras. And we do a lot of the extras already are included with our drawings. So that's not a worry.
So what I'm hearing you say is that between the survey or the topographical survey and our building permit set of documents that have all this information, we're getting a complete set of requirements into the building department so that they can start the assessment.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So obviously this is all done after the house is designed and priced and everybody's agreed on everything, because I imagine making changes to a building permit set can be logistically complicated. How does a customer apply? Like what's the process in terms of approaching the building department and getting their ear?
So once we have all of everything together, right now most of the building departments are doing everything online. So it's very easy for us to send that drawing electronically and sending all of the information electronically. And it's just with a hit of the button and away it goes. So either you can do it, I can do it. I can send out those drawings as long as you invite me to be part of your project. I can do that for you.
How does that? How does one go about making you a representative or an agent?
So yeah, so it's there are different applications on different cities, and I would either just need an authorization letter, or which is simple, and or an invitation. So a lot of the townships now are just using a cloud, if you will, and it just simply says, to invite someone to that, and then I can upload all of the drawings directly. And if there are any changes, like you had noted, if there's a change to that drawing, we can change that drawing instantly for them. So it's not a problem. It's very easy.
So typically, I imagine there's an application fee at the time of application. Mm-hmm. And also, I imagine that, owning the property owner's name needs to be on the permit application, as well as yours if you're the agent. I believe that the charges run somewhere between, for the building permit application, somewhere between $1.50 to $2 a square foot. Is that kind of the amount that you're seeing?
And it can be a little bit more. And the townships are really, with this COVID now, the townships are really working towards making it simpler for each homeowner to pay. So they can either send in a check, which is a little bit more difficult. We've had some townships paying directly to the taxation department, going into the bank and paying through the taxation department. So that's a little bit easier.
That sounds very streamlined. So I've
They're
made
really trying to work with you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They are trying to work with you too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that, people mistake that sometimes, when there might perhaps be an incomplete application. So I imagine that that's something building departments don't do well with. So how important is it for an application to be complete at the outset?
If you don't have a complete application, they will put it to the bottom of the pile, and another 10 days go by. So if the customer, it's very important. It's very important. The whole package needs to be there. And that's why I really like having customers invite me to join them in doing the packaging. It makes it so much easier. And again, if there's something missing, the township can call me and say, Kimberly, you've missed this, or Kimberly, that we don't have a site plan. Do you have it? Your customer hasn't sent that in yet. That we might have it already, right? So, okay. Makes it much easier for the customer.
Absolutely, and that's exactly why we have this service. Kimberly, I've made my application. It's complete. I've paid my permit application fee. I have a 1,500 square foot house and it's $2 a square foot, so I've paid my $3,000. Typically, how long does it take if I have a complete application? I've paid all my money. How quickly are towns turning around building permits at the moment?
So right now, anywhere between 10 and 15 days, if the application is complete. They are really struggling, but it's with this e-plan, or emailing them in instead of paper copies, it can be that quick. A lot of the townships are have been very good at that, and I hate to say, a lot of the townships inspectors have been working overtime and at home to do, like everybody else, to do this and get the job done. So when it's e-planned, when it's done like that, we get the stamped plans done back. And again, if I'm invited, I can see the process. I can see how far along in the process it is. Once that's done, and if you've paid, the typical, the whole point of having me do this is so that we can schedule you for a delivery.
Right. Okay. And we'll talk about the impact on QualityHomes in a minute. So my building permit's now issued. Can I do any clearing? Like, I know we need a building permit to start the foundation excavation, but are customers allowed to clear their lot or put in a driveway prior to a building permit being issued?
You can, I wouldn't suggest it, because if you have to move that driveway, if you're under conservation and you don't have that clearance yet, or you need to move it 4 inches, my suggestion is, you should wait, but it is your land. You can chop down that tree, but
well, I think we need to be very careful with that, because in urban areas in particular, there are some significant tree protection.
There are a lot of trees protected.
So what if I have an existing structure, like if I'm doing a tear down, how does that work in terms of removing?
Yeah, so you don't tear it down before you get a demolition permit, first of all. We've had a few of those. You need to have a demolition permit. Your structure, again, this is where your zoning comes in. If you want to make the house a little bit bigger than the current footprint, then you may have to go for a different zoning. Otherwise, it can be, you know, the same. So it's the same. It's the same go about with the building permit, only you may have to go through a minor variance for a larger building, right? And that, again, we help you with that.
So let's talk about a minor variance for a second, because I think that particularly with teardowns, you know, much older houses, you know, the size or the scope of the house may change. So how do I go about making a small adjustment to an existing setback or something? Is that allowable, and what's the process?
Sure. Yeah, it's allowable. What you do is you go into the zoning, or we find out the zoning again. Zoning is really a big part of it. A big part of it. You go into the zoning department, you find out what you are allowed to do. And it has to be very specific. Customers need to understand that it's okay to talk to them about their land and what you're going to changes you're going to do. And then we find out what we're going to do, what house you're going to put on there, and if it's going to be for a minor variance. A minor variance can range from, we're going to change it for 3 feet. We're going to make the house a little bit bigger, 3 feet. We're going to move the house back towards the back of your property. And the minor variance is going to council. And all we do is fill out the forms. There is another payment towards that, but you fill out the forms, we complete them for you. We do technical drawings for you, which is part of the process. And all of that goes towards this application, and it goes into the town, fill out the forms, goes into town, goes into council, and they pass that. Again, it's, you go into the meeting, it's passed, we wait 21 days, and then we start the process. So.
Okay, so permits now ready to be issued. One of the largest chunks of investment in a project is going to be development charges. So my understanding is those are due when the permit is issued. And development charges would take care of things like bringing water and sewer to your property, getting your garbage picked up, all of the things that the school boards, fire service, police response, it's all tapped into there. And typically those amounts can be significant. So, you know, we'd like customers to prepare for that as well. Generally, what's the range? I'm hearing $20,000 to $50,000. Like, is that?
Yeah, there's a township up here that's much more. So again, and they're trying to recoup some of the 404 charges. So you know, 404 is coming up. So it can be.
Is that information readily available on the town?
It is. It's available on the website for each individual township. Yeah.
Okay. And that would kind of be the last payment or stage that you make to the city or town for your permit application?
Some townships right now, and I'm not sure if it's due to the COVID or not, are requesting it all together. So it's up to each individual township now. Right. Whether it's going to be at the same time, or whether it's when you pick up your permit.
Excellent. So yeah. to kind of recap, Kimberly, you know, we have a lot. We need to get it surveyed so that we have all of the boundaries understood. You know, all of the topographical features. We need to understand the zoning, because obviously it needs to comply with what's available. We can't go and build a fourplex on something that's zoned for a single family residence. Right. Conservation, you'll find out what all the conservation, if there's any heritage, you know, what the other requirements are. We understand the building envelope. We design to that. We make sure that everything complies. Yeah, if I'm missing anything, our set of drawings will include everything you need for the structure of the house for the building department, not only structure, but also energy performance. That's all done by QualityHomes. Applications are made. If there's any deficiencies, you can deal with those. So they can make you an agent or a representative on the application,
Yeah.
which is a smart idea. And then you'll usher them through the process and notify them when the permit is ready, and obviously Quality Homes can start their work. That's amazing. Give us, if you don't mind, Kimberley, like what is the biggest mistake that customers tend to make when trying to do this on their own?
Incomplete applications.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, incomplete applications. There's one little piece of paper that's in the application that it's called the Canadian wood span, and it is just a little it just tells you how much water is in the wood, and people look at it and they think it's just a junk piece of paper. Well, it's really important, and they miss out, and I get called on it. So it's simple, but it's a lot of people miss out on that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, I think, giving our customers peace of mind with your experience and your resources, roughly how many building permits do you think you've applied for over the years?
Yeah. Howard.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It's in the hundreds, I would assume. Like, every town is a little different, and you've had experience with those. So,
yeah, I've made a lot of contacts. I've made a lot of good contacts, with conservation areas as well. So people know Quality Homes as well. So, which is really good.
Well, we've built over 4,000 houses. So, in most municipalities in South and Central Ontario. So, it's really good. Kimberley, thank you so much for joining us today. I think people really feel that you are a great resource, and obviously we appreciate all you do at the company. At this point in time, there's no charge for the service. It's included in your purchase price.
Right.
Kimberley is for free at the moment, so that's fantastic. Kimberley works out of our Cookstown office, but is readily available through our website at qualityhomes.ca. We have a great registration form there. Send your questions in. Kimberley will be able to get you some answers, and she'll make sure that the permit process is smooth, efficient, and timely. Thanks so much, Kimberley. Have a great day.
Thanks, Hal.
Take care. Bye-bye.